Hi, I'm Bill Sargent, and welcome to the Club for Success. I suppose you're wondering why this exists and why I'm doing this. Well, back in 2012, there was an election cycle going on, and during that cycle, they threw out there the 99 percenters. That was the mantra. And I was having a political discussion on Facebook, which I don't do anymore, but at that time I had a good time doing that. And they were discussing the concept of poverty in the city of Milwaukee. And the 99 percenters, if we could just get what the 1 percenters have, if you could give us what the 1 percenters have and spread it around the 99 percenters, everything will be great. And I thought, isn't that interesting? So I threw something out, and I knew it was going to get a response, but I didn't realize it was going to get that big of a response. And the thing I threw out was, the rich get richer and the poor stay poor, and nothing the government will ever do will ever change it. And I got the most amazing response. Brains just splattered against ceilings and walls and all over Facebook land in Milwaukee. He said, how could you say such a thing? Heresy. And I thought, isn't that interesting? So I decided to test it. And I went to a very well-known school, a school that I had put tens of thousands of dollars into. And I went to the principal, and whose name will be Bob for the purposes of this video. And I said, Bob, I says, hey, the rich get richer and the poor stay poor. Why? And his response was, That's a really good question. I'd have to think about that. I said, okay, you think about that. I'll give you a couple of days. I'll come back. Then I went into the guidance counselor's office, the one with all the hash marks on the chalkboard of all the people he's sending away to indoctrination centers. And I said, Bob, I say, the rich get richer and the poor stay poor. Why? That's a really good question. I'd have to think about that. And I says, great, I'll give you a couple of days, I'll be back. I gave him 3 or 4 days and I came back. And I went up to the first Bob, the principal, and I says, well, the rich get richer, the poor stay poor. You've had time to think about it. Why? And he gave me the most amazing answer. He says, I don't know. Now, considering that I poured tens of thousands of dollars into the school, and this person was in charge of overseeing the education of my kids, I thought, geez, that should have been an automatic. We should have had an automatic response to that one. And that should be like foundational. And I said to him, okay, I'm going to give you the answer to it. Here it is. The rich get richer and the poor stay poor because the rich learn and continually apply in their daily lives success principles. The poor do the exact same thing with failure principles. Now, the good news is this. Those principles, those success principles, are available for free to anyone and everyone. And that's why the government will never change it. Because the only answer a government ever has is, we're going to throw some money at it, we'll create a program, we'll create a bureaucracy, we'll put some people in charge of it, we'll grow the government a little bit, and we'll maintain it, but we'll never fix it, because if we fixed it, we'd have to shrink the government, those people would be out of jobs and everything else like that. I mean, the war on poverty is now 60-some years old. And we've thrown roughly, probably more, 25 trillion with a T dollars at it, and it still exists. So I says, now that you know this, that, so in this school, I says, you're teaching literature, you're teaching biology, you're teaching this class and that class, and all these things of which, most of which they're going to forget the moment they walk out the side of that front door, except what temperature water freezes at. What's your class for success? I was dumbfounded. So that stuck with me, and I went back, and I went back home, and I thought something's got to be done about this, and so I decided to design a class for success. Now, will it ever get into the schools? Might, some, probably not, most. But I also got to thinking, well, why do we even have to wait for the schools to do something about this? You know, today, our schedules are full, more full than they've ever been in history, because our society has this thing where if we have an open time in our schedule, we're going to fill it with something. I mean, we're starting kids out in karate classes at 5 years old. We're starting them in soccer at 7 years old. And we've got this club, and we've got that club, and we've got this society and that society. And we've got butterfly clubs and scrapbooking clubs and this and that. And if we've got extra time, we're going to fill it with something. There is no open time anymore. So, people are so used to forming clubs and athletic events and everything else like that, and filling your schedule. I have a question for Mr. Smith. Mr. Smith, Mrs. Smith, if you knew that one day your kids you would be dependent upon your kids, what would you be teaching them differently today? That's the power question. If you knew one day you would be dependent upon your kids, what would you be teaching them differently today? Well, I do this. Okay, great. How about this? Do you have other friends in your neighborhood, other parents who feel the same way as you do? Of course. There's Ken down there, and there's Bob over there. And how about this? Would it be worth your time to get together for an hour on a Saturday morning with those parents and those and your kids, and do a class for success, and do a book read with your kids? Not only will they become successful, but in the process, you and Ken and Bob will also become more successful at what it is you already do. And hence I designed the class for success, which you will see below, and you'll see in the following pages. One thing I want to tell you about this class: I feel that every high school student should do this class. Every college student should do this class. Every parent should do this class. And every adult should do this class. We can change our nation. This is how it is done. Instead of dissing the 1%ers and coveting what it is that they have, how about we teach everybody how to be a 1%er? Because they can be. They can be. Instead of demonizing the wealthy, why don't we teach everybody how to be wealthy? Now, there's no charge for this class. This is free. Okay, it's going to cost the cost of whatever book you read. And if you don't have the money for the books, well, you can go to the library or borrow from somebody. But I'm not charging anything for this class. Okay? So here's the class for success. I strongly encourage you to, and even if you're 70 years old, my goodness, Colonel Sanders didn't start Kentucky Fried Chicken until he's 68 years old. Now, the cool part about this is when your kids read these books and go through this class, I don't care what it is they want to do. It doesn't matter what it is they want to do occupationally, professionally with their life. I will guarantee this, if they apply what's in these books to whatever it is they do, they will be successful. And here's the really cool part about it. When they go away to those indoctrination centers and places and somebody says something stupid, they're going to recognize it as being stupid because they know better. They learned here from the experts in their fields about how to be successful. And so therefore, I hope you enjoy this class for success.